And first and foremost, it's a fun place for Darren to have a side gig to be able to explore food creativity. Because really that's the real reason behind it. Welcome to Cue the Mic.
Welcome to Cue the Mic. It's episode 11.
Episode 11. Wow.
Yep. Episode 11. I am currently now posting it on our Smoky D stuff, so hopefully we'll start getting more listeners.
Everybody I talk to listens. It's amazing how many people are listening when I...
We get about 100 listeners.
Out on the barbecue. Just 100 altogether?
An episode.
Huh. We need to step that up.
I agree. That's why I'm posting it on all of our stuff now.
We're going to have to get a big guest.
Yeah. I thought Luke was pretty big.
He's tall. He's tall, all right. As a matter of fact, I'm on my way to meet old Luke today.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, he's the newly crowned national pork champion at the Safeway barbecue battle.
I think I did see that.
Yeah.
That's the DC one, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And sauce, and barbecue sauce, sauce and pork.
Man, he's coming for you.
He's coming. What a morning at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 9 o'clock, and whew. we got some what do I want to call them, air curtains installed to prevent flies from coming into the restaurant. And I saw it coming and thought, I've always wanted to do that, and pulled the trigger on them a couple months ago, and they got delivered well over a month ago. And I'm like, okay, let's get these installed to the electrician. And it took him about a little over a month to get them installed. So the last week was the most fly horrible thing, because they just find their way in any door. And so, now you got the fly. I was hoping to prevent the huge fly problem. Now we got to figure out. Now we got the air curtains installed, but by the time they left last night, everybody's going, man, these things are rattling. And I'm looking up, I'm like, this isn't right. So I'm like, okay, I'll be back 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. So I get up on the ladder, and there's some washer that it's just rattling. And I can't figure out how it gets tightened back down. So I'm like, give me some duct tape. So I opened it up, I duct taped it in place, and they don't rattle anymore, but until we can figure out how to get that. So, and then the sensors, I went to, they have sensors on the door that open up and close magnetic contacts, and he put one on the wrong side of the door, and it's like then wouldn't shut off all the way. And then I go to look, and he's attached it with like poster board stuff that you put I'm like, this is a restaurant. That's going to last a day, instead of drilling it into the frame, but not very. That's one of my to-do lists. But then just getting ready to go, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get out of here. I'm trying to get on the road, and hey, this smoker's broke. The rotisserie won't go around. I'm like, are you kidding me? And of course, I didn't have all my tools because I'm getting ready to go out of town. So I'd kind of cleaned out my vehicle of all the tools. So then I had to go get tools back there, fix the issue. Just one of those days that it's like there might be a lot of bourbon in my future later.
You're on vacation. You're going on vacation. It's the perfect time.
It's not vacation. There's no such thing as vacation when you own a business,
okay.
Emma. You should know that.
Okay.
I'm just going to be working from a different location.
Right. That's true.
So, anyway, so we were struggling. Trying to figure out what do we talk about, because normally we have time to talk, but I've been kind of on the run trying to catch up since I was in Canada fishing, and it's just been constant.
Chaos.
It was like all last week was just chaos, and it's really should be a slow time of the year for us. We should be really slowing
Yeah.
down, but catering is just full bore. It's just full bore. And so I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Evidently people like our barbecue or something, but it,
Well, probably helps that you got everyone's talking about how you're hot crap nowadays, so
yeah.
everybody wants to give it a
you
try.
You think that's actually driving the
Probably
catering
does.
business?
It probably plays a part in it. You're probably, probably why all of our sales are doing pretty good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, but you can't complain about that, you know.
No.
We always need
You
sales.
can't.
So things are, setting records every week. So that's a great
That's crazy.
great thing. It's just a matter of keeping all the normally now's when you want to give everybody like a breath. After graduation season and Pork Expo, you just want to take a breath, and nobody's getting a breath. So it's
All
okay.
gas, no brakes.
Everybody's holding up, and life is good, and nothing will be broke for another week and a half because I'm going out of town. And so nothing breaks when I'm out of town. It just breaks when I get back.
Okay.
And then I get home, and I'm having a little air conditioner problem. So I have a buddy of mine come over, and he came out a couple weeks ago. My air conditioner was froze up, and he goes, I think you got a little bit of a leak. Let me try it. And so then he ran it a week, and then he put more Freon in it. And, okay, we're going to have more. And so he's like, I'll find time on Monday to come leak detect it. So he comes out, walks into my shop where the furnace and the inside coil for the air conditioner is, and his leak detector goes off when he opens the door, which normally you're trying to just sense a leak very up close. He's like, yeah, major leak. So now we have to replace the entire coil of the inside air conditioner. But the problem is it's 4.5 years old. And does anything at all that was produced 4 or 4.5 years is just total dog shit. I mean, everything. It's just horrible. I mean, everything. Restaurant, whatever. I have replaced more 4-year-old equipment, but I've got 15-year-old equipment that's running fine. Knock on wood. But the 4-year-old equipment, once it hits 4 years, it's just, and this is major stuff that should last 20 years.
Don't be telling me that.
It's lasting 4. I mean, it's lasting 4. So
Don't tell me that. I'm halfway through.
Yeah, I know. So anyway.
Homeowner shit, man. Gotta love
So anyway,
it.
we're talking about, what are we going to talk about today? So, in our intense planning session that Emma and I have, which means when I'm
10
driving
minutes.
home
10
from the
minutes.
restaurant and I say, hey, what are we going to talk about? And we were struggling a little bit with content. And our listeners could help us with this if they want to hear different things. But Emma brought up the ghost kitchen, and the virtual kitchen that we have. And we really haven't talked much about it. We've mentioned it a little bit. But we thought we'd maybe educate a little people about what it is and what it's about. And
Because it's cool. It's a very
it's a really
cool concept.
It's amazing food. It's probably the most
Yeah, it is.
amazing food our company puts out.
Yeah.
And Keish
Without
does
a
a
doubt.
great job. Keish does a great job of making sure, she's the manager, and she makes sure it goes in and out. But so anyway, we'll start the story. So back in 2020 when COVID hit, we have a warehouse up in Ankeny, which is a suburb of Des Moines. And where we distribute our sauce out of and rub and things like that. And that's where Emma's sitting today.
Yep.
And the place next door was a high-end catering company. So they catered very ritzy dinners and very just high-end stuff, right? High-end menu.
Yeah.
And the guy that ran it when COVID hit, his calendar just emptied. I mean, he was just done, right? And so he had 2 options. It was either close down or it was shift, and you shift your business. And I think there was some issues there because he used to be a meal to go place where they created meals to go It was probably before its time. I mean, that concept's pretty popular now, but
Right.
that didn't really work out. And then he turned it into a catering company, which was very successful. So anyways, fast forward, he just decides he's out of business. So the landlord calls me up and he says, hey, the guy next door is shutting down. He's got this beautiful kitchen inside that if he shuts down, he wants to auction off all his equipment. So there's walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, there's all this, everything, catering service for 600 people, glasses, china, everything.
Yeah.
If he shuts it down, then they're going to tear all this stuff out, and then I've got to spend a lot of money to bring it back into flex warehouse space. Are you interested? And I said, I don't know. And he says, well, if you can cut a deal with the guy, I'll give you free rent on the place until you decide what you want to do with it. And I'm like, okay, that sounds fair. So I went to Rick, and I took a tour with him, and I kind of gave him a low ball offer and said, here's what, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but gave him a low ball offer, and he took it. You know, company vans, lock, stock, and barrel, walk-in coolers still had food in them, freezers still have food in them, and just pretty much took my check and walked out the door. So here we are. We have this kitchen, and it's COVID, and we're not sure what we're going to do with it, but we'll make something work. So we sat on it for probably 9 months just trying to figure out what we were going to do with it. It was kind of a cool kitchen. We thought about turning it into a catering prep kitchen, but then we have some logistics challenges with its proximity to the 2nd Avenue location that was going to create a little bit of a challenge, but we were trying to figure out what to do. And then I was reading a lot about ghost kitchens and how people in LA and New York City had taken fancy dining, fine dining restaurants and turned them in to, carry out, or not carry out only, DoorDash, delivery only kitchens. And so they were taking a high-end steakhouse that was, doing high-end steaks. Well, you're not going to do that for carry out, but you can use that same equipment to make a kick-ass burger or a chicken sandwich or something like that. So, and it was very trendy. It was very trendy. And it was very, new. And if I know anything in my travels, if I go to California and see what's going on in the food scene, I can come to Des Moines about 2 years later, and that'll be trendy here. I mean, I've watched it for years.
Is kind of what happened.
So, we move forward, and then we have to come up with a concept. So we're like, okay. At first, we said, hey, let's do a wing concept, because we went to the people at delivery.com was one of our main, where we started, and they said, hey, there's no place that has delivery wings except for Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
And they, so they said, people want a lot of wings. It's in high demand, but nobody's doing them. I'm like, okay, well, that's good enough. We have smoked wings at Smoky D's that we could offer, but then we could also come up with a recipe and develop signature wings where we're pre-cooking these wings, where we actually brine them, pre-cook them, and then cool them down and then fry them to order, and then make up a bunch of kick-ass sauces to go on these wings. So that's kind of where we started. And then the price of wings, so then the ornery chicken was born.
Yeah.
And, it started out kind of a wing. I think our first thing says we were Ankeny's first wing-centric or whatever. We were trying to do.
And I think it said chicken-centric, but specialized in wings.
Specializing in wings.
Yeah, and some signature sandwich or specialty sandwiches.
Right.
But we only had like 3 on the menu.
Right. And so, we played around. We had a little false start with it. I had another guy going to start the kitchen, little false start. And then Keish, who was in our catering department, says, hey, I'll run a chicken restaurant for you. I'm like, okay, let's try this. So, and then we started to really dial down and create the recipes that are still there today. So we started with we knew the Chick-fil-A sauce was very popular.
Yeah.
And so we tried to not copycat it, but come up to a very similar
Yeah.
sauce, but still different.
Put our own spin on it.
Yeah, put our own spin on it, and we knew that we had to create some other sauces. So, at first, we were, for the first 2 months, we were buying random chicken breast, and I was cutting the top of the random chicken breast off to come to a portion, and then we were cutting the rest of it up for boneless, and we were brining everything because I knew in order for it to be juicy, it would need to be brined, which everything still gets brined today. But then we got big enough that we found, or enough volume that we could actually order in chicken that was brined already, and it was a set with a portion size. So then we really focused on making some kick-ass sandwiches.
Yeah.
And one of the
yeah,
first
because-
sandwiches, what? Go ahead.
We kind of, you shifted from wings because the price, and then they also weren't as popular.
They weren't as popular, so we shift on price because you got to move with the market. If we learn one thing here, you got to move with the market. So we, got the chicken sandwich thing going. It's really good. And so we're trying to design this menu around, we had a signature sandwich called the Krusty Cluck.
Yeah, the old Krusty Cluck. We still have
The old
it.
Krusty Cluck, still there, right? So chicken sandwich with this sauce, with a lettuce slaw. So instead of just serving lettuce, we were mixing lettuce and cilantro and green onion kind of as a mixture to make it fresh. And then a chicken sandwich with a sauce and different toppings. And we knew I had just been on a tour before COVID of Nashville of a hot chicken place. So I did a lot of research and about what made a good Nashville hot chicken sandwich. And we worked and worked and worked on a Nashville hot chicken sandwich. And I'll tell you, that Nashville hot chicken sandwich I'll put up against anybody. And if you look at the reviews online and everything's about the Nashville hottie.
Yeah, it's nobody comes close to the Nashville hottie.
And so, but one thing we did different versus other competitors in town, around the country, everybody was serving their chicken sandwich on the same bun. And so you can differentiate your sandwich based upon what you're putting on the chicken, or you can differentiate yourself by what you're putting it on. So the Krusty Cluck came on a brioche bun, but when we did the Nashville hottie, we're like, hey, let's put this on Texas toast, because I'm a huge fan of Texas toast. And we started out with thin Texas toast, and then we needed thicker Texas toast, and we went through a couple different suppliers to really find the Texas toast that we wanted to put on there. And then came the ranch hand, and anybody can do a chicken bacon ranch.
Yeah.
But we knew, being in Iowa, that was probably close to the top seller.
That one wasn't even there when we started.
Right.
Yeah.
So we knew chicken bacon ranch, and I'm like, my friend years ago had taught me how to make focaccia bread. And I'm like, I wonder if we could pull this off. Could we pull off, in this kitchen with 3 employees, could we pull off making fresh bread? And we tried it, and it was kind of a trial and error, and we're on our second iteration because the sandwich wasn't quite thick enough to support it. But then we come up where now we have the chicken bacon ranch on homemade focaccia bread called the Ranch Hand, which is just, once again, an amazing chicken sandwich. And I know I keep saying that it's an amazing chicken sandwich.
Our reviews stand or help support that. They are some of the best in the, well, not some, they are the best in the area. And our reviews have proven that.
Yeah, so then
untouchable.
how we started out as a delivery-only concept. So we had Delivery.com, who we had a long relationship with at the barbecue restaurant. We'd never exposed ourselves to the DoorDashes of the world because they just took too much money out. There's no way we weren't going to pay that 21% fee or 30% fee when they first come out.
Yeah.
And the more we knew it, if we were going to be viable here, that we'd have to enter into that market. And so, we got into it. You have to, of course, mark up your prices because you can't just, as a restaurant owner, you can't just eat, even though DoorDash wants you to. You can't just eat that 21% And they're going to sell it to you like, well, this is additional business. Well, I sell it back to them as, hey, if I'm sitting at home hungover or on my couch, right? If I'm sitting there, then, and I want somebody to deliver food to my door.
Yeah.
Shouldn't I be paying a premium versus going and getting it myself? And I think that answer is yes. So we marked it up. And, one of the things that people make a mistake with restaurants that deal with DoorDash is, they like for our rate's 21%. And so people are like, oh, I'll just mark up my rate 21%. Well, no, you have to do the math because you actually have to mark up your rate 29% in order to pay for their 21%.
Yeah.
And that was a big learning curve. I actually have a guy that had been using DoorDash for quite a few years, and we were having a conversation, and he's like, I just don't know this. It just kills me. Our DoorDash keeps building, but he says, I can't pay that 21%. And I'm like, what do you mean paying that 20? You're not marking it up? No, you can mark it up. I'm like, yeah, you have to mark it up. And so he like, really? I'm like, yeah, no, here, trust me, but make sure you mark it up more than 21%. All I'm trying to do is get back to even. I'm trying to, what I get paid from DoorDash should be the same as what I get paid from a customer.
Right.
Picking up. So, we've done it. It's become successful. But then we knew that delivery in the market they're in, and Ankeny's kind of a weird food town.
Yeah.
Lots of chain restaurants. I mean, we're about a half a mile away from 45 chain restaurants, I think. It's just, one right after another. There's the Chick-fil-A and the Wendy's and the McDonald's and a couple locals too. But for the most part,
it's primarily chains.
Huge traffic flow, huge chains. And so we knew we had to shift because there wasn't enough DoorDash delivery. So we kind of made the switch from a ghost kitchen to a virtual kitchen. And to us, a virtual kitchen was picking up, having curbside pickup.
Yep. Everything has to be done online still. And, we just kind of took the ghost part out of it because primarily with the ghost kitchen, you actually don't know where the food's coming from necessarily. And us becoming a virtual kitchen was because we pretty much told them this is exactly where it's coming from. But
yeah, the ghost kitchen idea was... Yeah, I mean, sometimes you read about the stories of ghost kitchen. There was actually a guy in New York City running a ghost kitchen, and he was buying like Totino's pizzas and dressing them up and cooking them in his oven, and then so he was taking the base Totino, and maybe it was a frozen pizza base, right? And he was doctoring up that base with fresh ingredients and whatever. So in essence, he was using their crust and sauce.
Yeah.
And he signed up for DoorDash, and DoorDash accepted him as a business. And so he created this pizza delivery, totally illegal, out of his kitchen. And meeting delivery guys in his apartment complex. And that lasted for quite some time till they actually caught him. The health department caught him and shut him down. But, I mean, that's why people somewhat are a little freaky about ghost kitchens.
We've had a couple of reviews where they're like, ghost kitchens are dangerous. You don't know where the food's coming from. And it's like, well, we do have a kitchen. Thank you.
Yeah.
But, It's growing.
It's growing. The number one thing is first finding out about it, right? So people got to find out about it. And the second thing you really got to overcome in the ghost kitchen is you've got this people that are older that they love fried chicken.
Yeah.
But they can't get over ordering food
on their phone,
on an app. Because if we walk you through the process, and maybe that's easier to understand. So, when you go to the Ornery Chicken, you go to our website or go to DoorDash, we're totally electronic. So
100%.
You go to the app, you deliver your food or you order your food. And in the screen, we have screens in the kitchen. So one on the fry station pops up and says, hey, you got 2 Nashville hotties and 2 sides of fries or 2 sides of tater tots or whatever we have.
Yeah.
And the fry person breads to order and fries to order that chicken sandwich. And fries, French fries or tater tots or Sidewinder fries or whatever it is, fries those to order for your order. Okay, so they're not sitting in a bowl waiting under a warming light. There's not chicken that's sitting in a warming cabinet. Yeah. Everything is breaded and fried to order. And then, so we make the order, and we tell people, I think it says 15 or 20 minutes before it'll be ready.
Yeah.
But then when you arrive, you can either click on a button, which will then send something to us to notify us that somebody's here, or we have a cell phone with a sign out front, and most people use a cell phone. And they just say, hey, Lori Smith is here. I'm in spot number 1. And so we have thing. And as soon as your order's done, we double click on the computer. It sends you a notification saying your order is done. And if you're there, then we deliver it right out. Otherwise, it sits on the shelf until you arrive, and then we're there. So very rarely does something sit on the shelf. I mean, for DoorDash orders it does because we can't control that driver. Yeah. But for customer pickups, it very rarely sits there. And I'm telling you, even if that sits there for 5 minutes, that sandwich gets better.
Yeah. We actually just got a review this weekend. Somebody from Altoona ordered our food, and she was raving about how when she ordered like the hottie and the little pluckers, and they were still hot. And still, wasn't soggy or anything. Like, still held its true, I guess.
Yeah, it held
structure.
And that was important. So when we first started, the chicken restaurant, we had to come up with a breading, and we make our own breading. We had to come up with a breading that held up in a to-go container. So Emma knows anything that we do when we're testing something. We have to put it in a to-go container, and it has to sit for a half hour before we try it. Because we know that by the time you pick it up and get home and, get the kids out of the car seat and it's probably going to be a half hour before you eat that food. And I want that food after a half hour in to-go container. We want it to be just as good, if not better, than if you were eating in a restaurant.
Exactly.
And I think we've nailed it with the breading. We've done things to our breading.
Our original breading. Our original breading was much different. I like to go back and look at the pictures.
Yeah.
Of how much
but this breading, it's
crunchy.
super good.
It's delicious.
So, fast forward. So we have, that's the process. And some people are scared of the process, but once they know the process, then they reorder time and time again. But it's getting new people because we have signs all over the front of the building. I mean, we're just in a warehouse, okay?
Yeah.
So we're in a strip mall, if you will.
Yep.
And we have signs on the door that say, do not enter, right?
Yeah. And it's like food delivery drivers, go to the back door. And nobody please stay in your car. No walk-in orders.
We have an A-frame outside that says,
please
order
online.
We do not accept walk-in, or here's the website to go to order. And we still get people walking in the door. And we still get people complaining. They still get people complaining of, hey, why can't we just come in and order? Well, the reason you can't come in is, first, would that increase our business? Yes, that would increase our business. But then we got to staff a person out front. And
we'd have to carry cash.
Well, I'm not even so worried about that. But we could, we would carry cash, do credit cards, whatever. But the big issue is I'd have to move from made fresh to order to holding stuff in a holding cabinet. And we have some high dollar holding cabinets we could do it with. But in a holding cabinet like a Kentucky Fried Chicken or a McDonald's or any of these hold stuff, because if 5 people walk in at once and it takes me 4 minutes to do that chicken sandwich, and I can do multiple ones at once. But let's say it takes 12 minutes to get your order ready.
Yeah.
You're not going to walk in. Would you ever walk into a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A or anything and wait 12 minutes? In today's world, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
I was going to.
But for the most,
I do.
But for the most part,
I sit in drive-thrus and wait that long.
But you're not. But normally, that's not the case. It's designed to be fast food. I want it to go.
Yeah. We're like a. We're not. I don't classify us as like fast food. I mean, we are, but we're not at the same time. You know what I'm saying? We're like.
Well, it's like.
We're like
yeah,
faster
I mean,
than most, but not like fast food, like in that category.
But high quality and faster than most. But if you have 15 people walk in the front door, you're not going to be able to handle that. Now, whereas if we're doing it online, we can throttle that. So we can set it that, hey, don't take any more than 4 orders every 10 minutes, or don't take any this amount of sales over whatever. And so we can throttle those orders so that if you're ordering, you may say, hey, I'm ready to pick up at 11:20, but you're not going to be able to pick up till 11:30.
Yeah.
It's going to force you in so that we're efficient and we can get everybody served on time. Because the last thing we want is somebody sitting there waiting on their food. We want to, here's this 20-minute window. We guarantee. Now, the way you get ahead is if you know you want it for lunch, don't wait until lunch to order it. You can go on, like today, I can go on and order for Wednesday. And I can say I want to pick it up Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And
you'll be in
Wednesday
the system.
at 11 or at 10:40, I'm not going to know anything about that order. And at 10:40, it's going to pop on my printer and print it out, or it's going to show on my screens and pop up and say, boop, this is ready to go. So it's truly about, you don't have a storefront. You're not trying to attract people to the storefront. So you don't want to put up a big sign, because you put up a big sign and then people are going to go, oh, I don't want to wait in the parking lot and order. So our biggest challenge, and Emma does all the social media because it's really social media driven. And so we're constantly trying to find ways to improve that from a ghost kitchen. So when we first started the Ornery Chicken, we got lucky enough and landed a spot on a morning television station.
Heck yeah, we did.
And it went bonkers right away. And that was the key to our success. So now we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get that exposure? We took a company van that we were going to trade in, took all the Smokey D's labels off of it, and put the Ornery Chicken on one side, the Crafty Mac, and parked it out in front of the restaurant, which it's done okay, but now we need to think about, okay, how do I get to these where there's a lot of people that would be young enough to know they're going to order online, and how do we get that van so people see it? I mean, should we be putting this in 4th of July parades? Should we be... Ooh?
No.
No?
I don't know. That feels weird. I mean,
Why?
I drive it everywhere, but I don't know. It just, I don't know. I think parades, I think fire trucks.
Because you don't want to...
I don't know.
All kinds of businesses are promoting themselves at parades.
Right. But I think, like, you build a float. You don't drive your catering van.
Well, I mean, I always drove a Smokey D's van, or once we took the food truck, or, you just...
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about Little Pluckers. We got our Little Plucker sandwiches. Maybe instead of throwing candy, maybe we should be throwing Little Pluckers.
How would those stay together?
Well, you wrap them in foil.
Oh, that's a good point.
Have you never got a hot dog at the ball game out of the cannon?
No, I'm not very coordinated, so I don't catch those things.
You're not very coordinated? You don't match?
Coordinated? Like, I can't... Hand-eye coordination.
Oh, you're not... Oh.
That kind of coordinated.
Oh, not coordinated. Yeah,
It's too
looks
early
looks like you match.
I do.
So anyway, that's the challenges, and people sometimes say, "Hey, I want to get in the business."
Yeah.
should I do if I could find a place, do a ghost kitchen? And I think the answer would be depends. It depends on if your
location.
Your location. Are you really close to a big populous thing? Like things I thought of the other day. We got 2 brand new hotels going in. And one of them's open now, the Holiday Inn, just south of us. And there's another one just getting ready to finish.
Right.
Well, somehow we got to get card because we're right around the block. So people that come in overnight, they're going to go to one of these chain restaurants, or maybe they want delivery, or maybe they don't mind doing curbside pickup right up the street. That we have a little map from there and a card at the front desk saying, "Hey," and then we feed the front desk, give them a gift card, let them do whatever, and say, "Hey, try this, and see how good it is."
Come to us instead of Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Or Slim Chickens. Don't go there.
Oh, yeah. I catch people. I see a Slim Chickens cup all the time, and I'm like,
gross.
What do you think? What do you think of that? And he's like, yeah, it's okay. It's a decent chicken sandwich. It's just a long ways to go. And I'm like, dude, we got a chicken place right up street. I know nothing about it. So, everybody knows nothing about it. So I think it's a matter of, but you got to be careful. You can't overload our system at once because we want to be able to perform. But still, we want to be able to grow that business. So when people want to get into it, if you're near a populous area, I think that's fine. I think catering plays a big part of that, and we've started to pick up our caterings because our chicken, I'm telling you, holds really well.
It holds.
We've done a couple times. Our first catering ever was, Emma's mom's always been with graduation party. They got about 35 kids now, I think. But
relax. Relax.
But
she
anyway,
did her last one.
We've done for a couple graduation parties, and she called me up and she goes, I was just amazed. And I said, what was that? And she goes, we loaned her out the Cambros, and their party started at 10:30 or you guys. When did you pick up the chicken? 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. Once.
Oh, did we? And then it sat there in
day.
A Cambro, and they were serving it all day. And at 4 o'clock, she says it was just amazing. And they took it down, cooled it down, put it in the freezer, and then took it and reheated it and said it was still really good.
Yeah, you pop those puppies in an air fryer, good as new.
I know. I noticed my daughter yesterday. We're at the grocery store, happened to be at the grocery store together, and she's buying like chicken, like Tyson chicken nuggets. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Kids love those.
Yeah, but they love ordinary chicken too.
Well, yeah. Oh my gosh, are you going to start bagging our chicken? Putting them in grocery stores?
No.
Oh.
No, there's no money in that. I only go where the money is.
Okay. So what's your plan of attack?
Just growing the business. But I think we just have to grow the catering business. I think people have to know about it. We have a ton of catering customers at Smokey D's, so we got to be able to...
Right, which we've tried to do a little bit of cross-promoting our catering with their catering, but we just can't seem to get it quite right, I think, yet. But it's fresh.
We keep searching. That's our biggest struggle. Our biggest struggle is the marketing aspect. It does
that
well.
And the
It pays for itself. It's not huge profit, but it covers, and it's fun. And first and foremost, it's a fun place for Darren to have a side gig, to be able to explore food creativity, because really that's the real reason behind it. And then we haven't even mentioned the Crafty Mac. So we started with the ordinary chicken, and we knew the volume, so we thought, hey, let's create a mac and cheese restaurant within the same kitchen. Same process, same everything. And so we went through and we designed some cheese sauces and some pasta and toppings and whatever, and created this mac and cheese restaurant. And so every mac and cheese, we're just not scooping mac and cheese out of a steam well and putting some stuff on it. We are actually heating noodles up, mixing it with cheese sauce with shredded cheese, so you get a bunch of goo to it, and putting funky toppings on it. So we created a chicken pot pie mac. So we make our own cream of chicken soup and put grilled chicken in it. and then mix it in with this mac and cheese mixture. And then we have pie crust that we make our own for the apple dumplings. We make our own pie crust from scratch. So we take the scraps from that and actually bake it off and make pie crumb topping squares, and we put that on top as the crust. So it's super good.
Yeah,
we utilize a lot of the same ingredients. We do a Nashville hot mac. We do a
chicken bacon ranch mac.
Chicken bacon ranch. We do a barbecue mac where we actually bring the barbecue from Smokey D's. We do a smash burger mac. We do a seafood mac. Things that are just fun. Now, that one hasn't taken off like the chicken did. I don't think it's gotten the exposure.
Yeah. It needs to make it on TV.
It's about 30% of the business. But once again, really good mac. Maybe not quite as good as the chicken.
Yeah, mac and cheese, opinion. I think, is just hard. Oh, no, I don't. I think the Honorary Chicken is next level.
It's like the Holy Grail.
It's in a whole nother. Yeah, it's in like a whole nother ballpark.
Wow, and now I'm sitting there thinking about, what do you do with the Honorary Chicken? Do you open a drive-through location where you could just stay a few ahead? Should you? I mean, we can't do that where we're at, but do you go, or do you take that concept and try and license it out to different people that want to open up a different concept, and then you get the breading that we still make from scratch? In our kitchen, you'd have to have somebody make the breading so that we could ship it out. So then, and the sauces, we still make them all from scratch. You'd have to take them somewhere and have somebody develop them and bottle them and put them in gallons so that thing. And I think there's that opportunity.
I think we should do a drive-through first.
Well, we get to that point, and I keep looking at coffee places, those little coffee places that are everywhere.
Scooters. Yeah, Scooters has a nice little
I just
setup.
need one of those to go out of business, because if I can get them to go out of business and that drive-through is right there, we don't need much space because we're doing everything fresh to order, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like we have to store a bunch of stuff.
Right.
If you just even forgot about the wings and just did chicken sandwiches and put 10 chicken sandwiches on the order or on the menu along with fries and whatever, you'd just kill it.
Right. Which is pretty much what we've done anyway. I mean, we still sell wings, but they're not even close.
Not even close to what's happening.
Our sandwiches, which is so interesting.
What else about Ghost Kitchen? I'd say marketing's our hard part. Trying to...
It is. Well, and I think we just went into it with such everything needs to be done online, and now we're starting to learn that the marketing, we need a little more word of mouth and printouts and handouts and things like that. A little more print marketing, which
and learning the trials
fun.
And tribulations of DoorDash. They play games. They're playing games right now that say, well, if you mark up your prices, then we're going to put you down on the search options. Yep,
which I think we talked about a lot in the DoorDash episode. But
it's just games they play.
And I think they're starting to do it, which is whatever. They just sent us a whole email saying we'll give you so much money if you put more photos on your thing. Okay, thanks.
So what we do every time you finalize an order, a ticket prints out off our POS system that shows our price, not DoorDash's price.
Did you know that the DoorDashers started ripping those off?
Well, let's hide them underneath.
That's, I think, what our plan of attack is. But we were talking about that.
We started throwing it in. We started throwing in so the customers could see how much they were really paying a premium. Because I'm not so sure we shouldn't have a stamp for, if you do pick up, here's your price, whatever, and hide it in between the boxes.
Honestly. But then again, we still want, because DoorDash, it's not going away. We still need some of our DoorDashers to keep DoorDashing.
No, we're just trying to get it so they're not manipulating the market. I mean, you can't.
They went.
You can't
they did that
tell
to
me.
Themselves.
You can't tell me what I'm going to charge just because. And they don't pay their drivers very well, so they make a lot of money for having a computer system.
Well, Well, we talked about it. They make almost. I think we said 35%. DoorDash alone makes 35%.
Right.
Of an order.
But boy, if you need to go hold of somebody, you sure can't.
No, you can't. we've had I think 6 different like reps for our businesses since in the last maybe year. And one guy was like, "Hey, I'm no longer on your case. We laid off a bunch of people. Like they can't even keep employees."
Of course they can.
So, because they went in over their head because of the pandemic, and then couldn't figure out how to.
Now people are coming out, but I guess the moral of the story is we got to figure out if anybody has any ideas about how you market this. I think you have to start pinpoint marketing the hotels, the apartment complexes. Should we be putting a yard sign out front outside the entrance door? Should we? I'm not a big discount guy, but should we give a discount to certain complex? Should we be delivering? Should we?
Well, we should probably be delivering.
But that adds a whole nother complex of how many deliveries can you do and keep the food good, and
it's tricky. It's hard because but you want to put out signs, but then also we don't want to attract people that'll come and try to sit down, and then we lose them anyway.
And then give us 1-star reviews because we don't have dine-in.
Because we're set in 2020. Yeah, man, that was the whole concept.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just some people trying to serve really kick-ass food and do it electronically so we don't have to have a lot of staff.
Yeah. Like you said, cool concept. Still working out the kinks. Definitely growing in the area. It's nice to know that we did it first. But
we did it first, so.
And we're not like a chain ghost kitchen. A lot of them are like chain restaurants doing chain ghost kitchens kind of thing.
Yeah, if you look at that, that's one of the things people like. Actually, I have a friend in Omaha, and he goes, "Man, we got these wings that are just like they're just really, really good. It's called neighborhood wings." I'm like, yeah, it's coming out of your Applebee's.
I was gonna say, that was pretty obvious.
I mean, but obvious now.
Yeah,
but
B-Dubs has the bird dogs, like their chicken. But I think even the Pizza Ranch has a chicken place. Right. Whatever. And then you got Mr. Beast Burgers, which he goes out of Perkins.
Mr. Beast Burger, is that out of Perkins?
His food doesn't travel very well.
Yeah, I haven't ordered it, but
from experience.
I mean, anytime you take a celebrity, which I don't even know who this guy is, but I hear more about him and more. He's a YouTuber. Is he a YouTuber or something?
Probably the most subscribed YouTuber.
And what kind of content does he have?
Oh, so he's made so much money that he makes content about giving people money. And he's he'll do videos from I bought a $10 yacht, and then also a $1 million yacht, and then that was one of his videos I watched recently, and then he hits different price points and shows you could have this kind of yacht or this kind of yacht. It's just stupid stuff, but
that's what seems to attract.
Yeah. Oh, right? Totally. I watch it all the time. He just went viral because he helped 1,000 blind people see. How do you do that? I know. He paid medical bills.
And so everybody buys a burger that's mediocre.
Yeah, and he sells chocolate and his own chocolates, and he sells a bunch of
Do you think he has anything to do with chocolate? Do you think he's even tasted his own chocolate?
I doubt it, but it's in every video, and everybody's always like, "This is better than Hershey's." I'm like, that probably tastes like dog turds, and you guys are suffering.
Yeah, it shouldn't be hard to market then.
No, but
okay.
That's on that.
That's on that. So Ghost Kitchen, if you're ever in Ankeny, we're only open Wednesday through Sunday. We're not open Monday, Tuesday. Got to give everybody a day off. So we're open Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 7.
Mm-hmm. For now.
For now. Mm-hmm. And as demand grows, we may expand that. But for now, we're 11 to 7. Check them out. You be the judge whether Your New Chicken's the best chicken sandwich you've ever had, because I guarantee it's the best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
Me too. But, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Until next week, which I think I'll be coming live from the patio in Florida.
Pack your stuff.
Pack my stuff. We might even try and figure out. I'm going to have the Reverend Randy Twyford with me in Florida, so I might try and figure out. I'm not sure
Really?
if we can. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if we both could share the same mic, and
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
we might just have a few cocktails and make this thing happen.
One experience for me. That will be.
Yeah, right.
My brother still wears a Twyford hat.
Okay.
But-
Until then,
Yeah. Till next
I gotta
time.
get on. I gotta get on the road.
Yeah, you do. 10 minutes. Best of luck. That was episode 11 of Cue the Mic, guys. Like, subscribe, follow us. Yeah, do all the things. And we'll see you
thanks
next
for
week.
listening. And also,
Yeah.
go to the Ornery Chicken or the Crafty Mac
If you're in the area.
and give us a like. Even if you're not in the area, just give
Oh,
us
yeah.
a like.
Go
Give us a
follow
follow
us.
there. Go follow us. You'll see what kind of, even if you're not in the area,
Yeah, new content coming soon.
you'll still be able to see beautiful, beautiful chicken sandwiches and eat
Yeah.
through the screen.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We'll
Till
see you
next
guys
time.
next week.
Okay.
Bye.